What's up, guys? Welcome to week 10 or week 11 of the podcast of All In with Bad Beat Bryce and Ryan the Rock. How you doing, Ryan?
Oh, I'm doing really well, Bryce. No
I may
one,
have spoiled our guest there, but
no one saw that.
no one watches the first 2 seconds. They'll get on it a little.
Oh my god.
How's your poker week been?
That's been brutal. It's been not fun. I was
Yeah.
literally just telling Chris in their little backstage thing that I've lost at least 3 bullets in the last week in tournaments to Barry Greenstein's pairs against 2-overs and has to come on the river every time.
That's just how it goes sometimes.
But yeah, I've been playing
I feel
Heads
like
Up
that.
too, and I think this is an interesting thing to talk about. Just like Heads Up is much higher variance.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
have to be a little careful because
for sure.
like you can very easily find yourself in a significant hole or like up a bunch and then it just disappears.
I mean, you're playing so many more hands,
Yes,
obviously.
yes.
So you're gonna
And
be
that's
involved
the
in a
fun
lot
part,
more
is
bigger-
like-
yeah.
Right. No Limit Hold'em. If you ever forget that your entire stack is at risk every single hand, you're
And with just 2 people, obviously
Right.
you're very vulnerable. So Ryan and I both have actually been doing heads up challenges. So I've been playing with my friend Sam. Who, we've been playing 2-4 a ton. We actually have a game right after this. And Ryan's been playing someone that I was playing earlier. His name's Anthony as well.
Yeah.
Anonymous Fish.
and a bunch of other people. Yeah.
So yeah, we've been playing a lot of heads up. But anyways, little sidetracked. But today we're mainly going to be talking about the topic of table talk and whether you should do it, whether you should not do it, the impact of it, all that good stuff, as well as the return to the live poker scene. So we've had a few of our friends already return and things are opening up. Most of it's not 9 max yet. It's 6 max, 7 max. So just our thoughts on that. So where do you want to start, Ryan?
I think we should start with live poker coming back. I have seen,
How's Connecticut? Are you guys back?
I don't honestly know. I really haven't looked because I don't plan on going. And that's really the big kicker here is that, like, we have a club and we play online and things are fine. And I don't need to go back to a live table. And I just think the risk far outweighs the reward for me. And that's one of the things that, like, Brad Owen brought up on his vlog this week. I think he released it yesterday, where he said that. He was like, for me, I'm a content creator. Like, this is my job. So, I thought that the risk no longer outweighed the reward. So, he recommended, he's like, don't go if you don't have to. If this isn't your living, like, don't risk it. And I frankly, I agree with him.
I think there are so many factors and some people don't necessarily think about. So I think it depends where you are, how old you are, how many people you're in contact with.
Yeah.
Like if you're for whatever reason, like living with your grandparents, like you should not be going to.
Yeah, you should not be going.
If you're a 24-year-old in perfect health who's living in a place where the cases are going down significantly, I think it just depends. And like
it depends on your
if that's
tolerance for that risk.
Exactly. And I think if you're a 1-3 grinder who at most is going to make $300, is that worth risking your life, risking your family life? Probably not.
Yeah,
if you're playing in a home game with a few friends who have been quarantined and
that's
everyone's
another
being safe,
thing. Exactly.
I think that's safer than going to a casino. I mean,
It's time to
obviously
just
they're
call up your
taking-
friends and say, hey, have you guys been doing anything crazy? No. Okay. Let's think about getting together and do something.
Exactly.
That's the only way to do it
I've
safely.
gotten some heat for playing home games. Actually, not too much. I honestly expected more. After
Yeah, but if you know everyone.
Yeah,
you're
I know
comfortable with
everyone. I know no one's been too crazy. And
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think Florida is playing 7 max. Oh, gosh, I get it mixed up. So Maryland Live just opened, and they're playing 6 max. There's plexiglass. They temperature check you. Obviously, that doesn't necessarily mean
masks at the table.
But yeah, so apparently, if your masks go like right below your nose, like they'll scream at you and like
of course they will.
I mean, obviously,
They'll
I think
tell you
it's
to put
good
it
that
back
they're
up.
being precautionary. It sounds like they're doing as much as they can.
Right. Because the dealers are at risk as much, if not more, than everybody else who's there because they have to touch all the cards that you touch.
Are they wearing?
They're wearing gloves.
I figured they were,
they are.
but I hadn't
Yep.
asked.
It's craziness.
Yeah, so hopefully things calm down, but I'm in the same boat. I don't
Yeah.
plan on going back
Not worth
soon.
it yet.
Like some of our friends
We'll
are going
get
to
there.
Florida to play, and I
Yeah.
expect them to take full precautions. But also, Florida's cases are increasing, so I just didn't feel like that was the best thing right now. I'm doing well online. I'm crushing the home games. We're good. But anyways, so the other topic we wanted to discuss today was the topic of table talk. So some people do it very, very well. Daniel Negreanu, Garrett Aldestein, people of that nature. And then some people do it horribly, and some people do it annoyingly.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I'm saying. There are a few categories of people who do this, and I think for me, all the times live in what little experience that I do have in live poker right now, every time that I've opened my mouth, it has not benefited me. And it's funny because like me and my personality, like I'm very talkative. I like to talk to people at the table, but once it's time to do business, it's time to do business, and like I cannot participate in table talk. Like I just have to keep my mouth shut because I know as soon as I open my mouth and say something, like I might laugh, I might say something, I might give something away. And so, I have since like 2 or 3 times where it happened, where I opened my mouth and then the exact opposite thing of what I wanted to happen happened. I just
what is
stopped
your
doing it.
perception? Do you think when people are talking, they're generally strong, generally weak? Depends on the person. What do you think?
Yeah. I think for me, all the experience of the people who I've had talking to me are like just your typical guy who shows up at the table and is just talking the whole time. Like, I have had a couple of those, and sometimes entertaining, sometimes they're not.
How do you make of people like CJ or me who are just chirping you? I normally am doing it when it's the other person in the decision, not when I'm in the decision. But I also think overall it's been profitable for me to table talk, and I feel like it's worked. And it just like freaks people out. They're like, if he's talking, like, is he that? I definitely polarize it too. I'm not always talking when I have it. I'm not always talking when I don't have it. But I think it very much depends. Like CJ, I feel like when he would talk, CJ is our friend who played in home games back in college.
Yes.
He normally didn't have it. He would
we
go
always bring up as
quiet when he had
aggressive.
it. And sometimes he would be bluffing, but the vast majority of the times when he's chirping you, he does not have it.
Yeah.
So I think it's just very interesting.
He used to do this thing whenever he would c-bet against you and he wanted you to fold, he would just go,
throw your cards away. Throw your cards away.
Throw it away. Come on, speed up. It was amazing. It was fun. I mean, that was a great lesson for me early on playing Super Micro Stakes was starting to get that experience with table talk. And he's a master. He's hilarious.
Oh, he's amazing to play with live. So today, we were talking about Orlando, who's a buddy of ours who we were going to play a home game with. And he calls me up and he's like, bro, you're in Orlando? What the hell? I'm like, no, dude, that's a name. He started to chirp me. I was like, dude, I would tell you if I was like 20 minutes from you. So that's pretty funny.
No,
but anyways, without further ado, we want to introduce our guest of the day. His name is Chris. He is an LA crusher and he's from Irvine, California. So welcome, Chris, to the stream. How you doing today, man?
Good. Thank you for having me on. Definitely.
Of course.
To be here and meet you guys. And
awesome.
About table talk, I can go either way with it sometimes.
Oh, yeah?
Interesting. Yeah, I'd love to hear your input.
Well, a couple of players actually who have talked about it have said that a lot of people like to do it just to kind of get a baseline on you. A couple players in particular, they'll try to talk you up before the game even starts if you have a new game starting or a tournament. And they'll just try to chat you up on anything like sports, where you're from, your name, things that you're casually going to talk about, but they'll try to basically get a baseline of your voice, almost like a lie detector test where they just want to get the baseline. And then if they ask you a question during a hand and they say they look for like different inflections in your tone of voice or basically your speech pattern, then they feel like they could pick something up on you. So when I learned that, and I learned that's why some people were trying to chat me up more, I've definitely gotten more quiet over the years.
Understandable.
I mean, I have a couple of good friends who are serious players, so even more serious than I am. And when we go, we obviously chit-chat. But when I'm in a hand, I really don't like people talking to me, and that's just kind of how I am.
I totally agree. I hate it when people talk to people in a hand.
Yeah, Ryan likes to talk to people, especially
talking to a
about
stranger
poker.
if you tried.
Yes, to be fair, Ryan can't resist talking to
Oh, Megan likes your painting in the background there.
Oh, well, it was $35 on Amazon, so.
Megan's going to find it right now. I'm literally going to get a ding in 30 seconds with a link to it.
Do you know why
why
I got this?
Why is that?
Why?
Since I'm from New England originally, and I do miss the fall. If I ever miss the fall, I just look at this painting. Boom. There it is.
That's part of New England, baby. It's fall.
But I don't have to fly back there because it takes a whole day.
Yeah.
Just look right above you.
I just look right above me and I say, hey, look, It's a nice fall scene, and then I say, all right, I'm going to go to the beach now.
That's awesome.
Lucky.
All right, so let's hop into the very difficult questions now. So how did you get started in the poker scene? It's just the first one we love to ask everyone.
Oh, sure. Very odd thing. Send the link, Chris. I'll send the link later. Don't worry.
Good.
When I was 19, my friends and I were starting college, 18, 19. A couple people had moved away. And we kind of wanted a way to keep all our friends together. So my friend was like, do you want to try doing a poker night? Like, so we could all just hang out like every few weekends, like when we come home for breaks, Christmas break, Thanksgiving break, we could just do Texas Hold'em. It was just getting bigger at the point. I think Greg Raymer had just won it in 2004.
Oh yeah, this is right when it's booming.
By the way, he was actually from Waterbury. And then I said, all right, try it. It was only $5 and we did tournament style. None of us had any clue what we were doing. In all seriousness, like literally, I would play
Had the hand ranking sheet right next to you.
Yeah.
And I would just play any two cards, but then as like time went on, I started realizing like how people play, and I started watching it more and got more invested.
Yep.
And then I eventually broke off from that game, the $5 game, and I stepped up my sophomore year of college to the $20 games.
Oh,
Nice.
baby.
But
Big moves.
We know those.
when you're a broke college kid, $20 can take your
$20 is big money.
No, we used to play in $25 buy-in back in college, steal our friends' money. No shame, man.
It was
I had to make a huge argument as to why we could buy in for $30 because I wanted to.
No, Ryan's first game he played. He made $160 in a $25 max game, and he's like, "Poker's easy." he just left like with the biggest smile on his face.
I will
like-
never forget this. My first hand ever, I played a Texas Hold'em. I'll always remember this. I had pocket eights, and the flop came out, and a third eight came out, and I won the hand, and I won a lot of money the first hand.
Yeah.
And I thought that's how it worked. I'm like, as soon as I get a pocket pair, I'm gonna have a third one come out.
Yeah, exactly.
Not quite.
But
Yeah, no, Ryan. I was actually pretty mad because I was like, he doesn't even realize that I'm better than him right now. Like, I put in so much time. I'm down like $5 right now.
It took me a while to actually understand
Like how the swings work, but
exactly.
Yeah.
in
Exactly.
college,
I
I
ran
got
like
experience with it because of it. But when you're $20, $20 as a college kid makes or breaks you when you're 19 and 20. But
Yeah.
I got a streak where I won the tournament like 10 weeks in a row. So 10 weeks in a row, I won $200.
That's
Okay.
awesome, dude.
I was just like,
Some nice
oh my
variants.
gosh. And then after I got out of college, I kind of dialed it back because I was like, all right, I got to try to get a job and start making money because I went through a downswing in poker where I lost all that money too.
Yeah.
It happens.
It happens.
Then, actually, believe it or not, it wasn't until I was 30 then I linked up with a couple of friends who like playing at the casino because normally it was just like $20 home games. And my friend was like, do you want to go to the casino and try? And I was like, sure. And ever since then, I've actually just been doing the 1-2 tables. And for the longest time, I was always that guy just buying it only for like $80, $100, very conservative. And like
Ryan does not like the min buy.
I don't like the min buy.
The big wins for me was being like what you talked about, like the 1-3 grinder making $300 in a night. I'm like, oh, this is a big win.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Recently,
Yeah.
I stepped it up and I buy in more for about 300 the 1-2 table. And I actually want to talk to you guys on stakes you play because I think I want to step up to either 2-3 or 2-5 actually.
Yeah, so bankroll management, if we haven't discussed that in depth, we definitely will be soon. But yeah, so I mean, it totally
The
depends.
differences in the players and how the game is played, the environment, and everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it very much depends on a ton of factors. So a typical rule of thumb is 30 buy-ins, but also that's just very dependent on your financial situation. So like if you're good and you have like 6 months at least plus like living expenses saved up, like you could be more aggressive. And also I was listening to a podcast like the other day and they were talking about like depending on your style should depend on your bankroll. So if you only have 5 buy-ins and for whatever reason you're playing like these higher stakes, like your style needs to be different and you might lose some equity in the hands that you play just because you need to fold. Say you flop bottom pair, but it smashes your opponent's range. You might have to fold just because you're only playing for 5 buy-ins.
Yep.
So you don't really want to be in that situation because you want to be in a situation where you can play most comfortably. So for me, that's a little bit more of an aggressive strategy. So if I was playing in shot taking and say a 10-20 game, I might be a little afraid and not play the way I want to play. So until I'm rolled for that, unless I consider it like a shot taking, I probably won't do it. So I've mainly transitioned to 2-4-2-5, but I also play 1-3. So at the MGM, it's a $500 max, and the game plays like 2-5. So for me, that's a pretty good stake. Friday, Saturday night, you see 3-4K stacks. It's crazy. But yeah, it really depends. I would try to have at least 20 buy-ins. So if you were just buying in for 80, say, few years ago, I say to just stay at the stake you're at and just always buy in for the max. Because buying in for the max is the way to get the most value when you hit your hands. And a lot of people don't think in terms of big blinds and will get in just a ton of big blinds stupidly. So if you just have the most money to maximize your profits in those situations, then you can slowly move up stakes and build off of that.
Double ups mean more.
Yep.
I heard that you want to buy in for 100 big blinds minimum. I've heard that's one of the big rules. At least. And I'm only doing like 40 or 50 big blinds, like at most. So for me, it was a little weird at first when I jumped from 100 to 300. I text my friend who I used to play with years ago, and we both lived in Connecticut. And when I went to play with Brad Owen and Andrew Nemi, I was doing the 1-2 table, and he said, "How much are you buying in for?" I said 300. And then I just wrote back to him, "Did your brain just explode?" Because he was so used to being that $100 guy.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But the thing to also remember is like your ranges have to be a little different. So if you're playing 40 big blind stack and like there's a raise in front of you and you're on the button and you're with like ace jack suited, you really want to make it 7 big blinds when that's like almost 20% of your stack. Like that's kind of a lot.
That's true. Actually,
whereas if you're 300 big blinds deep, ace jack suited's a completely fine 3-bet. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I totally understand why. I mean, for me, I was a little risk averse when I first started playing. Being more conservative. Like I didn't want to lose the money. But
makes sense.
I don't look. I live in Southern California, so if you have 6 months worth of income saved up when you live in
that's a lot of money. Good Lord.
California is very expensive. And like I said, it depends.
I have that much money in my savings right now.
Yeah.
So I think with that said, especially, it sounds like you play a lot for the entertainment. Obviously, nobody likes to lose money.
Nobody likes to lose, but that's why the $100 for me was more like it was a fun night out. Because like if you go out drinking with your friends, you're gonna spend $80 to $100 on Ubers and crap like that.
Do you guys get free drinks at the casino? Obviously, you don't want to play trash, but if you're going out with the boys, having a few drinks,
actually, it was funny. I don't drink, so I was always the DD, so it was always a safe ride since I was always stone sober. They would have free drinks, and we would just have a night playing cards. Actually,
that's awesome. That's good. Glad they were responsible with that.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, so my best suggestion is just stay at the stake you're at. Keep having fun. It sounds like you're going with your friends, and you labeled yourself as more of a serious player. So it sounds like if you moved up your stakes, you might not still be with those guys. So I think it's
they're pretty serious with it too. Actually,
okay.
One of them actually has a World Series of Poker ring. He won
a tournament. That's awesome.
In Connecticut. It was a $30,000 tournament, and then he won a seat at the World Series in 2015.
Wow.
He's done well. And the other one is actually a very aggressive 2-5 player, and I've seen him walk away with $3,000 or $4,000 in a night. He's definitely kind of helped me with my game because he was like, you kind of play a little too tight where it's like when I bet,
Ryan,
unless people had like top pair, top kicker, they didn't really want to engage with me.
Yeah.
But I've kind of varied up my play where now like I'll call raises with a little bit wider range just because I have a bigger buy-in. And also I'll do the occasional limp with aces, and sometimes it hurts, sometimes it helps.
I mean, yeah, very dependent on your game. Typically, I don't limp aces too much, but if people are raising every single hand, you can just limp back raise and play a little tricky.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're having a good time with your friends and you're at a decent stake, and I don't really see a reason to move up. Just keep buying in for max and keep having fun.
I think I would also add in that for you right now, as you're starting to think about it, you said right at the beginning, you were talking about, is the game different between 1-2 and 2-5? And I think that it is to a certain degree, where I think before you just say, oh, I'm going to be a 2-5 player now, you should think about, as your role gets bigger and as you feel more confident, taking a shot, saying, okay, in 2 weeks, I've been playing really well at 1-2. I think I'm feeling comfortable. Let's take a shot at 2-5 and sit there and get comfortable with the buy-in and the amount of money and what's happening and how the people play around you. And I think that's a good way to think about moving up in stakes.
Yeah, and the other thing to think about is just, do you think the increased stakes are going to affect your decision making? Like, do
Exactly.
you think you're going to make a call because the line doesn't make sense in 1-3 and you're confident with your gut,
Yeah.
but in 2-5 you're afraid to make a $220 river call? Then you shouldn't be playing those stakes, because people are going to notice, people are going to bully you, and you just really you can't be too much scared money. I guess is the best way.
That's
of
my
putting it.
problem for a long time. I was scared money, but it's funny you said in my gut. I always actually go by my gut instinct, and it's never steered me wrong. And the one time I ignored it, I would have flopped a straight flush.
Isn't that always the brutal thing?
I had 7-9 of spades. I had 7-9 of spades, and my gut was screaming to play it. But I had like about 300 in front of me. I was having a good night. One guy raised to 10, another guy raised to 20, another guy raised to 50. And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at 7-9 of spades, and my gut's like, play it. And I said, no, I got to be smart, and I folded. And then the next guy pushed all in, and then all four of them went all in pre-flop.
Oh my god!
While you would have won a 2K pot this time, you got to make that fold.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I shit you not. I don't know if we're allowed to swear on here, but
You're good, man.
I shit you not. The flop 5, 6, 8 of spades. I flopped it.
Did you just like pound the table?
I don't drink, but I was like, I might get a beer right now.
I would tell whoever actually won that pot that they needed to buy you a beer and tip the waitress.
I even asked the dealer. I just looked at the dealer. I was like trying to compose myself. I said, dealer. I was like, you see those cards I folded? And they were like, yeah. I was like, can you flip them over? And everyone was like, what the? And I was like,
yeah, that's wild.
And there was a really loose player next to me he was actually the reason that I realized I should buy in for more than 100, because he was the guy who would buy in for 100, lose it, buy in for another 100, lose it. He was just right for 100.
Those are beautiful.
He was like, man, you didn't want to play that 7-9 suited? And I was like, no, I didn't.
So I think something that a lot of people want to know is about just like the California poker action. Is it crazy? We've heard a bunch of stories, and I haven't had the chance to play out there, but how would you describe the action?
Well,
is it really loose?
Are you guys both in the same area?
No, we're not. So I'm in Virginia and near Maryland. He's in Connecticut.
Okay. You're still in Connecticut.
Yeah, exactly. I still live in Glastonbury.
Because you're near First and Last Tavern, which is like
I literally, it's 2 minutes away from me.
Wait, wow, man, I probably ran into you, honestly, because my physical therapist is there too, actually. Silk Roads Crossing. I go to physical therapy there, and I used to shop at the Whole Foods right near there too. I probably ran into you.
Man, that's my town.
I'm not even kidding.
It's a small world, man.
I lived there for 30 years. So, anyways, the California scene, definitely, it's a crapshoot. Sometimes, honestly, I'll get a table of guys, just like casual guys, just like want to have fun, want to have the beers and everything like that. But I've noticed a lot of them like overplaying their hands. In my opinion, they'll value that ace king to the river, where like this was a hand I won. I had pocket jacks. I made it. It was a 1-2 table. I had about 100. Me and the other guy had about 150 in front of us each. I made it 10. He immediately made it 40 with ace king suited, and I just had pocket jacks. And then, of course, I called. The flop was 10 deuce 6, so he has nothing. And it was a rainbow, so he didn't have a flush draw. And I immediately went all in. He called immediately. He snap called, and I looked when he snap called, and I was like, I have to be beat. Nope, he had ace king, and nothing came out. They value the over pairs, but like they will be heavy with it. Where like one hand that pissed me off, I had this one guy had ace king, and the flop comes ace 10-10. I have jack 10, so I have him, and I bet heavy on the flop. I bet even heavier on the turn, and then on the river he hits an ace to make a better full house.
Yeah,
you cannot pry cards away from these people.
I mean, I think that's good though, because long term that's profitable. Like increase your raise sizings pre-flop, try to isolate these fish, and just take their money.
Oh no, because it has. I mean, one of my biggest wins was actually the one time I forcibly got put into 2-3 game, the 2-3 blinds, because 1-2 was taken. I've been waiting for 45 minutes, and I was like, you know what? Let's just do 2-3. So I bought it for about a little. Awesome. I paid for 300 that day, and I had a really profitable day because I had pocket nines. This other guy is ace queen.
That's my hand. Pocket nines is my hand. There we go.
The flop came. The flop came queen 9 deuce, and
favorable flop.
it was a good flop, right? You said it's a pretty favorable flop for me. And the pre-flop, the pre-flop raise was just me and a guy heads up. He was first to act. He went 15. I just called him. So there's about a little over 30 in the pot with blinds and everything like that. So I bet 45, and this guy with $300 in front of him just shoves all in. And for a second, I'm like, does he have pocket queens? Because he did make a big pre-flop raise. I'm like,
Does he have deuces?
maybe. I called. He had queen jack. That's all he had. And then the turn was another 9, so I made 4 9s, and I was like, well, I won.
That's a pretty safe turn card for you.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So-
But yeah, I mean, that kind of shows the crazy action in California. What do
Yeah,
you
it
think,
does.
Ryan?
Yeah.
And I was going to say, if you guys ever want to come out, you're welcome to stay at my place. If you like staying on a couch, we can go. I live 40 minutes away
Oh,
from the
good,
club.
dude.
For sure,
100%.
yeah. No, I'll definitely be going to the bike. I definitely plan on playing there probably 2021 when things are a little safer, but I'll definitely be making the trek out. Play some
Yeah.
2.5 or 5.10
Yeah.
on stream.
But Chris, who you gotta tell us, so who is your favorite poker player right now? I think I always break this into 2 categories. Your favorite one to watch and the one who you actually think is the best.
Okay. My favorite one to watch, I don't even think he's that great. I just think he's more the entertainment factor.
Yeah, that's it.
John Robert Ballant, actually. He always
I mean, he's a
entertains me.
professional poker player.
I mean, you can be professional anything if you want to be.
Yeah.
I just think he's very funny because, like, there was a hand he lost, but he thought he won it. And he goes to the dealer. You look very handsome today because he thought the guy was drunk.
I see that, the PCA.
But then the guy
Yeah, it's
rivered him,
funny.
and then he was like, "Oh no!" So,
He's
And then the hand where he
hilarious.
just bluffs off like $300,000 or 600. I don't even remember.
yeah,
I think it was pounds. So who even knows how?
Yeah,
that
it's,
happens?
yeah, who even knows what that means?
But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of him.
I
He's
just think- I
flopped
don't
on
think- I don't think
Survivor.
he
He's kind of crazy. Not the best player. He is entertaining, but
exactly. I watch him where I'm like, this guy makes me
Yeah,
laugh.
he's fun.
When
So
he
who do you
hits-
think's the best?
I've gone back and forth about this, but I really think Phil Ivey is still the best. I really like his game. I really like where he picks and chooses his spots. It was disappointing. I think it was in 2008 when he made the final table. He really didn't play. I mean, he wasn't getting a lot of cards, but he really didn't play his hands well that day. It seemed like he was just a little off. Maybe like the pressure of like, I'm the best player at the table, and if I win this, I'll really solidify it. It might have gotten to him. But I really think that the way he will, check raise, the way he'll, basically play each hand, and the way he honestly is hard to get a read on for most people. I really
absolutely.
think he's the best.
Yeah, no, he's definitely an amazing player.
How about
So,
you? What do you think?
What do we think? What's your answer?
Oh, we can
Ryan, real
easily.
quick?
I mean, I think we can rattle this one off. I think my favorite person to watch right now. I've just been watching too many Tony G videos lately because YouTube's
Jamie
incredible.
Gold, isn't it?
Yeah. I think. I mean, he's just a big character, and that's what I'm saying. I think that category in terms of characters, I just so love to play at a table with Tony G because I'm sure he has a bajillion stories. Who do I think is the best? Oof. I don't even know if I could really answer that question. 'Cause
Yeah,
there's so much going on.
I
right
don't know
now
how
in
to
the world.
answer. I'll answer my favorite to watch. My favorite to watch
Yeah.
is Tom Dwan. He's just a
Okay.
sicko.
Oh, that's so true.
And obviously he hasn't been playing too much as of late. And like I don't even know because it's difficult. Best player right now, like Fedor Holz is an amazing player, but I don't think he's top of his game. Garrett Aldestein's a sicko, but he also doesn't play the nosebleeds.
Right now, yeah. There's no one who's like actively super duper hot that I can think of because there haven't been any super huge tournaments because we're all stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I mean,
with
Brent
the
Kenny
poker,
is
like
like hot.
Brink Kenny, yeah.
the guys who win the World Series of Poker. I mean, I know they win a ton of money, but you can't look at them and say they're the best player in the world right now.
Oh, absolutely not. If you look
I
at Jamie
can't.
Gold, who won the biggest
Yeah.
field ever, he's bad. Like he is not a good poker. He's
Chris
like,
Moneymaker is bad.
He's not horrible, but he's,
Oh,
he's
I
not
think
good.
Better- he's way better than he was back then.
I think he's better than Jamie Gold too. I would.
Yeah,
I think he's way
probably.
better than Jamie Gold. I also think he was a better champion than Jamie Gold. There's a
Absolutely.
whole other aspect to being champion of you now become an advocate for poker.
Yeah,
And Jamie Gold was a terrible advocate. I think Chris Moneymaker continues to be a good one.
That's true. No,
So yeah,
Weird,
but
actually.
winning it is a whole different story. And
Joe
that's the hard
Nash-
part.
I guess Joe Hashem has a bad reputation of not being a great ambassador. Like he was really like humble when he won it, but I guess nowadays he has
Yeah.
a pretty bad temper. Whenever he loses, he has a bad temper.
So super zen with the
Yeah,
little goatee.
He lost that zenness. Now he's just always like
I
swearing.
wonder if he got rid of the goatee too. I haven't really paid much attention to him lately.
Well,
I
I think
haven't
a lot of
either.
these guys, I mean, they're set. If they're smart, they could be set for life. But a lot of these poker players who were hot in the early to mid 2000s were kind of flash in the pan players. Because I mean,
Yeah, I think the game also fundamentally, or not like it changed in a significant way. I think from the 2000s till today, it's a substantially different game.
How do
We
you-
should talk about that.
And the poker
in depth
field is we
next
could talk about that
podcast,
for 2 hours.
because it's crazy. Like it was so much live reads. The players were bad. There weren't poker books. Like people had no
Leveling.
conception. Like
Yeah.
leveling. Like
8 deuce, all in.
it was just completely different.
I
And
don't
poker
think
is
you
so
have
much
it.
harder today. There's so many more resources. There's
Yep.
free resources, and the players have gotten better. It's definitely still
Yeah, I
profitable.
think
There are a lot
players-
of bad people, but
Not a
think-
lot of bad people.
I don't know if it's like I think the players have gotten better because I think people take the game more seriously. Like I think when Chris Moneymaker won it, I think it was like not that they were like people like folding in. I think people were just there to like literally. It was just a good time to be there. It's like I'm in Vegas. I'm playing this tournament. Maybe I got in off a satellite win. While guys now they look at it like this is life changing money. If I can make the top 100, I'm still making a good 6-figure check.
absolutely. So before we go into our hand histories, we're just going to do a minute of rapid fire questions. So try to answer these as fast as possible.
All right.
And without further ado, what is your favorite drink? Doesn't
Drink?
have to be alcoholic.
This water that I'm drinking right here.
Water. There we go. All right,
Heck
Ryan.
yeah. Favorite celebrity?
God, I hate most celebrities to be honest with you.
I love it.
I really don't have one.
That's fair. That's fair. Most
Okay,
annoying.
Ashton Kutcher.
All right, that's fair. Good guy. Most annoying poker player you can think of.
Phil Hellmuth.
Facts.
Very fair.
Favorite musical group?
Or
Cartel.
artist. What was it?
Cartel.
Yeah.
Interesting. Best movie of all time.
You know what? Actually, if I had to really think, Braveheart.
movie, good movie.
Interesting choice. I like it. Most annoying thing someone could do at a poker table, in your opinion?
Honestly, eat on the table.
Eat. Interesting.
Oh, on it?
What
Yeah.
about like slow
Floating.
rolling?
Oh, okay,
but-
yeah.
Oh, that's
No,
fair.
no.
And-
I mean, if you're gonna try and put yourself on the table, yeah, you should
Yeah.
be reprimanded. For that.
Very true. All right,
course.
that is it for those questions, but we will now be going into the question you submitted. So let me just pull that up really quickly.
The question.
So wait, was the top one, the 51 online, no limit online? Was that you, Chris?
Top 51 now.
No, 50 cent a dollar, 9 max.
No, I don't think that was me.
Oh, yours was a live hand. Okay, we'll do that one.
Yeah.
What, is it the third or fourth one?
No, I don't know if we have any.
No, we definitely do.
Which one? That's what I'm saying. Because if it was the emailed one, then it would have been the first one.
What was your hand? If you remember.
What was my hand? I asked you your favorite hand in poker.
No. What was
No,
your,
what was the
your-
hand history?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, the hand that I lost, actually. We'll go
Yes.
with this one. All right, this was, I think it was when I emailed. I mean,
Yeah.
looking back, I probably made a mistake.
Oh
but
no,
I-
you're fine. We have the hand. We just
Oh,
don't.
no. The way I
what were
played
your
it,
two
the way
cards?
I played it, I probably made a mistake.
Oh no, you're good.
So the way the hand worked out, there was 5 people in the hand, and they all limped in. It was all $2, and I was second to act, and I had King 7 of spades. So everyone just
Wait a minute.
That's the top one.
Yep, we have that. Yes. Okay, good.
so I had King 7 of spades. and I was-
That's all we needed to do was get to which hand you had, and you nailed it perfectly. So give us 1 second to do
Sure.
our magical production abilities. Bryce is going to make this hand magically appear.
Oh god, this is embarrassing because I had a bad hand.
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
It's good for the
Look,
podcast.
that's what this is for. I
No,
have
no.
shown hands where I've lost hundreds of dollars on this podcast, and Bryce has shown once himself. It happens to all of us.
Very true.
Oh yes,
All
perfect.
right.
That's exactly how it's lined up.
Oh, it shows the villain's hand, but you know what? It's fine.
Yes, it does.
Ryan made
Well,
these.
he was
too,
a
so
villain.
blame him.
I apologize.
All right, so small blind flats, you flat. We go 3-way to a flop.
So no, it's 5 ways. Actually. 5 people
Oh,
called.
5. Wow, totally did not see those people.
Right.
So I think King 7's fine to defend here, obviously for such a cheap price.
It didn't pause.
So you check, and villain bets $10.
One other caller besides me.
One other caller. So you decide to call flop. Yeah, I think calling flop is fine. You're probably feeling a little iffy because villain's only gonna have not too much, and the pot's gonna be 30.
Wait a minute. Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm going to say is that villain bets out pot here. So I think when we're thinking about calling with draws, we also have to be thinking about what sort of equity that we have continuing in the pot here. If the villain's continuing for pot, you have 3-1 odds to continue here.
Seat 5 calls. Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. So, when he continues for pot here, you also have to think about, what hands does he have here? He's an early position opener who then, when check to, bets huge into what is a pretty dry flop. You have a strong draw, and I think your draw is probably
Not
going to...
horribly dry.
Yeah, I mean,
and-
he can have pair plus, he can have stats.
It's not the most coordinated board.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying it's not the most dangerous.
For me, it was a little more pot odds. I had a draw in my hand, obviously, and he makes a pot size bet, and there's one other caller. So I'm thinking the pot's now $30, and I have to sacrifice 10 to win 30. So
yeah, I think one issue that presents. So I would have called here too, especially with seat 5 calling, but villain could have a ton of like ace jacks, ace king spades, ace 4 spades, ace 5 spades. So he could have your flush draw dominated. What does help you is your 7 does have some backdoor straight equity.
Yes.
So king 7 plays a lot better than
like an ace
king
2.
10, even king 10 of spades here. Although then that would block the 10 of spades, which would be good for you, like ace 10, ace. But yeah, so I think a call is fine here, but you're gonna be in a sticky situation, and
you just need to play turns. Exactly.
Villain's gonna commit himself.
And the turn was an 8, so now I've got the straight draw and the flush draw, the second best flush
9
draw.
plus
Oh,
6.
he jams. Oh,
He
no.
went all.
So you have 15. You have 15 outs. You're going once, so you got like 30% equity against what is the hand.
I think I had a 31% chance to win.
Yeah, it's about that.
So based on that odds, you're behind here probably about 95% of the time. He probably doesn't have many bluffs here at all, and even his ace K or whatever are ahead of you. So you're really calling an over pot.
I'm calling to hit. You're saying
Yes. So you're calling 48 to win a pot of 88, but you only have, like you said,
this is
31%.
honestly close though when you look at the
close.
odds,
It's the funny
because he
thing.
has the equity necessary to make this call profitably in the long term. But I think this is one of those spots where you look at the equities and you say, I can make this call, but you think about villain. If you have any past history with the villain, have you seen them play hands like this? What hands have they played like this? This is one of those spots where you just have to think about
what
like
made me call. This guy was actually, I've been playing with him for a while, and he was a very good player.
Okay. Yeah, so he got you with the trap here.
Player can obviously pick up kings or aces in evidence of this hand, but he was a guy who was always riding low pair. Like he wouldn't want to fold like bottom pair, or he would ride top pair with a 2 kicker, and he would.
Ryan, we're actually wrong. You didn't count the 2 ace outs also, or never mind. I'm stupid. He has aces. I thought he had. I'm stupid. I'm so stupid. I very much apologize. I thought he had kings, which wouldn't make sense. Disregard what I said. Anyways, the call isn't bad, but obviously, like Ryan said, it can be difficult in situations where you're like positive you're beat, and it's borderline.
That's the thing is, I think given your explanation of the villain and that you've seen them be kind of loose and wild like this before, I don't fault you for the call there, because in the long term, that's a close spot anyway. So that's one of the spots where, for me, if the math doesn't make sense, you have to look at the person and say, do I expect them to show up with bluffs here? What bluffs make sense? And I think that's one of those spots where if you're playing against sticky Cali players who love ace king, you could easily be winning.
A lot of those guys, they love, like I said, running any pair is big for them. And even if they say they have like a pocket 7s type hand, the flop is ace king 8, they'll still bet on the flop.
Yeah.
A lot of these players.
So you decide to toss in the call, and the river is
An
an
ace.
ace. Ooh, brutal.
Barry Greenstein,
So,
but it was unnecessary.
I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, King 7 doesn't have the best playability in the world, but you were so priced in that you're not folding pre-flop. Flop, you had too much equity to fold. Turn, you
pick up 6 more
arguably
outs.
too much equity to fold.
Yeah, that's the
So there really wasn't too much you did wrong here. I mean, it's not like you called and were dead or anything like that. You were very much very
in all
alive.
honesty, since he limped in, I didn't see aces coming, and I thought he had like a queen 10 type hand, so I thought the king was also good for me too.
Yeah. So we've got 3 more hands for you guys today. We'll go over one more with Chris, and we'll toss him backstage. But
Awesome.
so do you want to describe what's going on here a little bit, Ryan? Is this you in this hand, by the way?
No.
Okay.
You're like, absolutely not.
Yeah, this isn't me.
Okay.
Uh,
So
what-
this is one of the viewers' hands.
Correctamundo. Is this the ACR?
This is I believe this is. I don't want to spoil it. I think this is the ACR hand. All right. So we've got Ace King, and he made it 240 or 270. I didn't see.
Goes up to 275.
Oh, 275.
And so one of the things as well is that in terms of background information here, this hand occurs over an hour into the session in Hero Notes that to the point the table's been pretty passive.
Okay.
That, over the course of the first hour and a half, not a lot has occurred.
So due to the passivity, raising only 3x is fine here. I would look to go a little bigger. Being out of position, I'd probably go 3.5 to 4x.
Yeah.
I like to. I mean, you should be sizing up more when you're out of position.
I think this was the exact dollar amount where I was like, I don't know if I can really call it too little. It's like just enough to say, that's
it's
fine.
not bad. I just would size up.
Would go
a
bigger,
little
yeah.
more next time. But he said it's a passive table. Maybe you
Exactly.
want some value with your Ace King. You're pretty confident you can be ahead here. And the initial
Cold
major
call out of the big
folds,
blind.
I just don't even understand that. But yeah, so pretty good flop. 10 deuce king, 2
Well,
diamonds.
Yeah.
And he leads out 675. Too small. And the
No,
villain
I mean,
just
okay, so let's talk
flats.
about that. I mean,
No, too
it's
flat, too
king
small.
king 10 deuce. When you're getting a flat out of the big blind here, and it's a cold call to a 3-bet, I think that indicates a strong range, but I think that also caps his range. So
Absolutely.
I think yes.
King Jack,
So
10 Jack, I think
Right.
it hits him though. Any
Right.
diamond draw, I think he has a ton of 10s in his range, which he won't fold to a 50.
Could he have Queen Jack in his range here?
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
which
he
he's gonna
absolutely
call
have Queen
with,
Jack in his range. Yeah.
which he totally would call with. So I would size 45 to 55%. He ended up going what, 35%?
Yeah, he says he down bets here, and I don't really see why it's necessary to go this
If
small.
it was King 10 Deuce Rainbow, I like his sizing more.
It's
but
still too
considering the
small.
flush draw,
Yeah,
I
you got to
agree,
get a
I agree.
little closer
But
to half
there's a
pot.
little
Like, you
more.
can go a little less than half, and I think for me, a little less than half is probably the right sizing here. But you shouldn't go that.
Okay, so 9 of clubs may look like a great card, but he has a ton of 9-10s,
Yep.
I think, in his
We already
range.
said Queen Jack, which is
yeah,
now
Queen Jack
nutted.
gets there. So I hope he sizes up here. And I hope he sizes
Well,
up.
actually, if a king could have gotten there, do you maybe want to check and see what they do, or do you think that's too conservative?
Considering he called flop, I almost think it would look suspect to not.
And
bet
you've picked
turn.
up the nut flush draw at this point,
That's
and
true.
I think while it's a backdoor draw, so it's harder for your opponent to get a read on it. It's also good to get value now because
Okay.
you don't know if that club
Good.
comes to the river if you're going to get the value.
He bets 25, and I like this sizing.
Good size.
It sets up a river shove, and it puts pressure on Ace 10, Jack 10, Queen 10, which are still probably going to call anyways. I think this turn card, you just have to size up, and I'm glad that he did.
Yeah.
I think he could have even gone 27.
All of his 10x is approved.
25.
All his 10x is
fine.
all picked up straight draws and
So
stuff.
the villain raises to 160.
He shoves all in.
And is this the hand where he has 9s? I'm pretty sure this is the hand because I didn't know there was a double flush draw. I did not look
That's
at
your
the hand
hand.
closely.
No, it's
Yeah,
not
it is his hand. So I don't see him having too many bluffs here, to be frankly honest with you. I think Ace King. Okay, so he bet 25 to 32, so it's 55 in the pot. So he's calling 78 to win 130. Yeah. No, because
okay.
then 78 to win 210. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
right around the map.
Yeah. So, interesting spot. So I don't think the villain has bluffs here. I think villain looks like they have 9s, Jack Queen, or like King 9. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because what draws shove here?
No,
I
'cause-
can't-
and you block the club draw, which is huge.
Yeah, you block the nut
block
draw.
like I think he raises flop if he has a diamond draw.
Yeah.
He might
Yes.
raise turn if he has I don't know, Ace 10 of diamonds and just
But I don't-
decides to.
Could he have slow played a set of 10s here?
I don't think it's possible, but I think given the pre-flop action, it's less likely. I mean, 9s and 10s are fairly similar in terms of.
I mean,
Yeah, in terms of strength.
But yeah, I don't know. Gosh, what do you
Well, can we
think
talk
there,
about
Ryan?
the
You put in the
shove?
call?
Do you think that? I mean, oh, I don't know. I don't know why the villain did this because with the small blind betting like this, I think if I'm the villain in position here and I'm sitting there with nines, I wouldn't want to play them like this. I don't think. I don't. If you shove to put pressure on hands, like that's such a tough spot because now you're putting ace king in a spot where it's almost no longer profitable for them to call, even though you've picked up a flush draw here. It's a toughie. I don't know if I would make this shove here with
I
a set.
honestly, well, we're talking more from your perspective, not from the villain's perspective.
Right.
I do shove a set here because it could look like a draw,
Yeah.
and I don't know
But
though.
what
You don't
draw-
have many kings in your range, so I
Yeah.
agree. What do you do though? Do you just flat and jam a brick river? You also are afraid.
You miss value by doing that.
I think villain should be raising here.
I don't know if you go that big. It's so hard because
If I'm the villain, if there's a straight draw and 2 flush draws out there. If I do have a set, I think I do shove here because I want to get rid of all the draws at this point.
I think ace king has to call. Mostly being if villain has king 9, king 10, and you hit a 10, deuce, and ace. You don't put him on too many sets here. He has set of deuce, set of 9 sometimes. I think you have to call for that very reason.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure the villain, based on what we saw, does have 9s in this exact hand. But I think it's just too nitty to lay down when you have top pair,
Yeah.
nut kicker, and the nut flush draw. Like the math might not be exactly there if he has exactly a set, but he doesn't always have exactly a set. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So villain calls, which I think is okay, and he's got pocket 9s. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I don't think you played it horribly. I don't think you played it bad even necessarily. I just think that I think you're behind a vast majority of the time. And I think when I read it, I thought it was a rainbow board, which obviously I think is a pretty easy fold because I don't know how many bluffs he has. But with you picking up the nut flush draw, if it was a 9 of spades, which
Yeah,
obviously
get out of
it
there.
couldn't have been, I think you just can easily lay it down here. I mean, I'm assuming.
Or of
you
course,
agree,
if it's
Ryan.
the 9 of diamonds, I think you can easily lay it down.
Yeah,
especially-
yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You
Throw
could
it on the
just be
exact
dead.
nine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brutal.
But we're gonna go over 2 quick more hands. But Chris, we very much appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you
Love
for
hearing
having me.
from you, and yeah, keep in touch for sure. And
Yeah,
good
keep
luck
in touch.
grinding in those 1-2 games, man.
And Ryan, actually, since you're in Connecticut, I got to get your number because I visit there about 3 times a year.
I will
Bryce, give
shoot you his number the second this ends.
Sounds good, man.
All right,
Thank
sounds
you
good.
very
Thanks,
much,
Chris.
guys.
Take care. Bye. Alrighty, so let's get the next hand up. So that was not the ACR hand. This next one, oh no, that was the ACR hand. I'm crazy. So this is one of my Instagram followers. I am not sure which of the two
Also,
it is.
same submit hands. We also
Yes, thank you very much. We had too many hands this week.
If you watch this spot, if you watch this ever, and you want to help us, go to Bad Beat Bryce on Instagram, slide in his DMs, and send us a hand history. You want him?
Oh, this is Kyrolo's hand. I saw the stacks and I was like, is this a tournament? And I was like, no, this is my boy Kyrolo. All right, buddy. We got ace queen off in the small blind.
Awesome. Here, a little 2-5 action. Stakes
This
are
man
up.
is a crusher. He's in Vegas right now. He leaves in a few days.
Pulls around to the button, opens to 30. Whoo!
And we make it 100. Interesting 6x raise. I mean, he said the games were pretty fishy, so I think raising here is totally fine.
You know what's funny is I also think that the open to 30 is almost fine because
no, I think-
everyone is super duper deep.
Yeah, I'm
3
interested to see how deep C4 was, but
that's obscene. So I think that honestly, while that open sizing might look crazy with how deep everyone is, and if the button's deep too, I think that's a good.
Yeah,
and
and
I
the-
totally agree.
the button's opening wide, obviously wider
Yep.
range of hands. So I
Yep.
think ace queen's almost the mandatory
Yeah,
free bet here. Obviously 30 is a little something to be fearful of, and if you get 4-bet huge,
You can get
all
away
right, let it go.
with ace queen
um,
off specifically. It's a good spot
So
to
the
raise.
big blind flats, and the dealer comes along too.
Yep.
So 300 to a flop of king queen 9, okay flop.
Yeah, I think it's
And
fine.
which-
I think we're going to see the dealer button show up with the least amount of kings. The big blind can have some kings in his range. I think ace king is just we can't really have ace king here. You block king queen as well, so I think king jack king 10 is probably the most likely.
What do you think of the check when we were the pre-flop aggressor and the smashes our range?
I don't like it. Yeah, I think when you're the pre-flop aggressor and you get a king queen 9 board with ace queen, you can lead out. And given the ranges as well, with a wide dealer button open and a big blind flat that I think caps the range, it gives you such a range advantage here where you can bet this and it looks like ace king all the time.
What do you make of the big blind flat who then leads out on a king queen 9 board? What the hell are you putting him on?
That's really weird too. Is what
queen 9 suited, 10 jack, pocket 9 sometimes. Like, what do you put him on? King 10? King 10, king jack's fine to bet here, obviously. Very fine. So I think you can't narrow his range too much, but yeah, jack 10 is very much. I mean, he only bet 152. I mean, obviously it's a rainbow board, but king queen 9 is not a dry flop.
Yeah, I agree.
So interesting. Mandatory call here. And the turn brings a brick of the deuce of hearts. And Hero decides to check. And
have to check again, I think.
Villain bets 300. I think this sizing is just kind of scary. I think this sizing leans towards king jack, king 9, queen 9, or 10 jack. I think he's pretty strong when he's making this this bet.
Yeah.
Wait, is this Kairo's hand? Because
I think you also have to think about what do they have here for bluffs?
Yeah.
And I think there is a case for, I don't know, some weaker queens to continue here. Queen 10, queen jack, which you're crushing. I think that brings up a lot of the pair plus 9-10. I don't know if 9-10 bets flop, but yeah, I mean, you're not in the worst spot here, but I think once the turn bet comes, it's a little bit more troubling.
Yeah.
But the deuce is such a brick for you. So if they had pair plus, they haven't improved. And if you're putting them on something around that and you think your ace queen's still good, I don't fault a call.
Yeah.
When the river comes the 5 of hearts.
So I actually misunderstood who won this hand. So in my talking to him, I misunderstood. I misread the board. Anyways, so we decided to check, which I think makes sense. And he bets 2,300.
Shoves.
Baffling. So I think at this point, 10 jack, pocket 9s, king queen are the only hands that make sense. But what the bluffs does he have? Like, I think his bluffs are 9-10, jack 9. Like, that's it.
Right.
Like, unless he has some weird hand like ace jack, ace 10, which decided to just bet a gutter ball. And I don't know. It's just such a weird line. And he makes the tank call. And villain shows ace jack offsuit. So I thought there was an ace. I don't even know what I thought. I thought he lost his hand somehow. Don't even ask me how. I read it very tiredly. Sick call. Sick call. I think the overbet is weird because he never has kings or queens here. And
so it's very
polarized. So like I think he has 9s or 10 jack and king queen. Like I think could.
I have a big
4-bet pre-flop.
Big statement.
What's your big statement?
I hate the overbet shove on this specific river.
Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree.
Nothing got there. What is the need to polarize on this river when nothing got there? I think the scarier bet to ace queen is maybe 2/3 pot here. 2/3 pot probably gets a fold from ace queen because they're thinking of all the kings that go 3 streets.
I mean, if it's just a nutso game, like maybe not. Like if we're playing certain people in our club and they take this line and are only betting half pot on flop and turn, I might call them a second pair. I mean, the shove makes it difficult, but in your scenario, you're saying they're only betting 2/3 pot.
Yeah.
A shove, I don't think I can call.
Yeah, I mean that's gross. That is gross. I mean they're applying max pressure to you, and I
don't know who's sick enough to make that bet though. Like I've 1.75x potted it, but this is nuts.
With ace jack, you unblock everything else.
Absolutely.
You unblock.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my hand is. What the heck is happening?
It's good.
So we've got one more hand for you guys today that we'll get into pretty quickly. It's been a fairly long podcast. We normally try to keep it between 45 minutes and an hour. But yeah, let's get into it. So this is another viewer submission, and we have pocket tens in a 1-3 game. I believe this was a live game. Is that correct?
Yes, I actually watched.
What the hell? I am confused on the action. What did you do on the share, my pair?
Hey, relax. Look at the villain. There is a button straddle to $6 because he said that he opened to 10 or to 20. And I don't know if that's okay. I watched his vlog. He is a up and coming vlogger.
Oh, you watched his vlog? Cool. Oh, I know who this is then. Okay.
Yes, he's Blue Man.
Yeah.
Poker.
Yeah.
That's his name.
Yeah.
Go check out his stuff. He's just getting started. He's a little new to vlogging. And so, yeah. So it was kind of hard to figure out the action in his hand because he said he opened, but he also said he was the big blind. So I've given it a button straddle.
All right. So we're going to make it 20.
Correct. Makes it 20.
Villain in the question mark small blind calls.
It's in the straddle. The button straddle.
Oh, okay. This is just so weird. Okay. Anyways, we bet 25. How are we in position? He must be a dealer then.
He is. It's a button.
I see what you're saying. Oh,
straddle.
I'm stupid. I understand. I understand. Okay. So we bet 25 into 50.
Oh boy. Okay, he opened to
It's
20.
46.
We had call from the button, so there's 40 in the pot.
A little more, but yeah.
41. There's 41 in the pot.
So he bet 25 into 41, which I think is a
41.
little big, but at the same time, you don't want to see any overcards. Like I don't hate it.
Correct.
I think it's fine to be honest with you. Villain makes the call. 91 in the pot. Brings in the straight, but how many 5-6s does Villain have? I think you should totally bet here, and I hope he opts for a size of about $65 to $72.
You're gonna get your wish.
I am or am not.
I think it's
60.
close.
Okay, oh my god. Okay, we bet 60, and he jams on us.
Yes. Yeah. So this brings up the interesting conversation about what are we thinking here with tens? So
I'm thinking snap fold.
You open and then you get this flat from the button straddle, and the button straddle is going to continue with a very, very wide range of hands. A very wide range of hands that smashes this flop. And, I think this is something where they could have easily check called you with a set of sevens or deuces or hit a set of fours on the turn. Well, I don't know if they would continue.
I think the issue is finding a bluffing range here. I think he can bluff with like a 5 or a 6 in his hand, but the issue is what 5-6s does he have here? Yeah. Not 5-6 exactly, 5 or 6. Like he can't have ace 5 suited. You know what I mean? Ace 6 suited, or sometimes. But like if he has 5 what 5-4? What I think you just call. I don't know why you would turn that hand into a bluff.
Yeah, I don't think
he has
6-7
all the sets here. And I actually think my recollection is that he was bluffing here, but I don't think on any planet you can call here profitably.
No. Because
he's putting you on a strong hand. You pre-flop raised, you bet flop pretty big, you bet turn decently big. He has all the sets, all the 2 pairs. I mean, he could have 7-8 and just decide to raise turn here.
Go with it. Right. In which
like,
case you're in a lot of trouble.
I think you're just screwed here the vast majority of the time. I think you just have to lay it down. Like I don't even think we need to go into pot odds. I agree. I don't think you're good here enough.
I think I absolutely agree that given the ranges here, that this is something where I don't even think you need to take super long.
And I think Villain showed their hand. No,
Villain did. I mean, I can't show it, but yes, Villain did show pocket 6s, and Villain also said apparently in a southern accent, "Oh, I bluffed you."
I love it. I do.
I think it's great because the problem is the next time that Villain tries to do this to you and you show up with 7s, you're getting absolute maximum value.
I mean, you double block the straight. You have every single set.
Yep.
I like.
Oh,
it.
It's a beautiful bluff. I love it.
And
it's a great
did
bluff.
Basically a very similar bluff and got snapped off by the nuts when I double blocked it against George in a home game. So. Yeah, no, I like Villain's play. Max pressure, I like it.
Yeah,
and,
that's it. Will Brunson would give that his stamp of approval.
I think you just have to fold here. I mean,
yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Is I think
do you think it's a different story if you have aces or kings?
No.
The answer is no,
is
because we're
no.
not putting him ever on like
that
a single
top
pair hand. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah.
We're not putting him on a pocket pair that's better
Good
than
answer.
us.
I'm glad I can
Yeah,
test my
his range is
co-host.
super capped.
Yeah. I
Super
completely
capped
agree.
for E flats.
I feel like it's interesting though, because I feel like aces are a lot more of a painful laydown, even though it's literally the
Even though
exact
it's
same
literally
hand.
the same
Having
thing.
aces or
Right.
tens is the exact
Right.
same
It's the
hands.
exact same situation here. I
Unless
agree.
he's just deciding to bluff you with like, I literally can't name a hand. That
I
makes
can't name a
sense.
hand. That's the problem. Like
I-
what
I was
takes
gonna
this
say
line?
like 9 jack of spades, but is he really gonna do that? Like 9 10 of spades makes a lot more sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Have an opener.
yeah,
Plus
I don't
flush
know,
draw.
man.
Not worth it.
But yeah, today's episode, thank you very much for tuning in. Very much loved you guys sending so many hands in. We had a few more on top of this and had to hand select. But thank you
Yeah.
again to Chris for coming on. Very much enjoyed talking to you.
Man.
And I'll shoot you Ryan's number right after this. But yeah, thanks again, and look forward to talking to you guys next week. If you have any ideas or suggestions for things you want to see us talk about,
Hit us up.
or if you want to see your hands featured, DM me, email me at
We're here for it.
brightspeedwilliams@gmail.com. And thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Take care.